Geological modeling plays an important role in the Salym oil field development. In implementation of this work, SPD is relying on the R&D potential of Shell, one of its shareholders.
In 2007, following the successful drilling campaign of the previous 3 years, SPD embarked on a major exercise of optimizing the development planning by utilizing a vast amount of newly collected subsurface data. As part of this exercise, SPD developed 2 high-resolution 3-dimensional models of the West Salym field.
One model is representative of the so-called fairway, or the best quality reservoir, whereas another model is typical of the flank areas, with poorer quality sands and lower oil saturation. 3D visualization of the dynamic fluid flow helps reservoir engineers to improve and optimize the subsurface development plan in view of numerous subsurface uncertainties in order to achieve higher oil recovery. Sector models were used to address a number of challenging questions. Among them, the implementation of the infill drilling campaign, which will reduce the well spacing from 700 meters to 500 meters. Since 2008, SPD is developing a full field integrated static dynamic model for the West Salym field. Injecting water over a regular pattern of injectors to drive oil towards a pattern of producers represents a traditional enhanced oil recovery, or EOR technology. However, the process of displacing the oil with water is not efficient enough because oil and water are incompatible fluids. About 60 to 70% of the original oil in place remains in the reservoir and cannot be recovered by water flooding. A promising EOR method is alkaline surfactant polymer flooding, or ASP.
This is an example of a bottle in which we have oil and water from Salym, and there's no surfactant added, so we see that there's a nice separation between the oil and the water. In the second bottle we've added surfactant, and this is actually a very efficient surfactant. It creates a nice microemulsion as a middle phase. This means that the interfacial tension between the oil and the water is now extremely low. And this is what we're looking for, because now we have an efficient process in displacing the oil with the water.
Then a polymer material is added to increase the water viscosity, and a core flow test is performed to see the efficiency of the ASP fluid in mobilizing oil. The next important step is computer simulations.
The computer simulations we are running to understand and get a feeling for how much extra oil we can mobilize with ASP. We simulate first a core flood experiment. You can see a flood front moving in the simulation, and behind the flood front you can see these light blue colors. These light blue colors are an indication that there is almost no oil left in the core.
After performing the core flood experiments, ASP is injected into one well, and the oil concentration in the well is measured before and after the ASP treatment with tracers. SPD is committed to conducting the research and the field trials to be able to make a decision as to whether to make a serious investment into this project in the future.
The size of the prize for SPD is quite significant and could be more than 250 million barrels of additional oil over the next 30 years.
Becoming the best operator means not only producing oil in millions of tons. It also implies producing oil in a safer manner. SPD has set itself a goal of having no serious accidents and no serious incidents in its operations. In brief, this task is expressed in the slogan, Goal Zero. It's not an easy task to reach Goal Zero, but in SPD, everything is in place to make that happen. SPD has created a comprehensive system for the protection of health, labor, and the environment based on Shell standards and Russian regulations. It includes advanced technologies and use of the best equipment that has proven its worth from the HSSE standpoint. To prevent any damage to the health of the people and the environment, SPD has identified the following priority areas: improve control over HSSE performance by contractors and subcontractors, ensure road safety, manage industrial risks, and utilize associated gas.
SPD provides support to contractors in establishing efficient management of subcontractors. A joint meeting of SPD management and our partners takes place every quarter to ensure the required commitment to the success of our endeavors, and followed by the Contractors Forum in the Salym field every 6 months.
SPD attaches great importance to ensuring road safety.
First of all, we will improve competence of SPD and contractor drivers through attendance of defensive driving training courses. We will install in-vehicle monitoring systems in all company and contractor vehicles that will provide feedback to the driver on how well he is driving and where he could drive even better.
SPD is implementing a more efficient journey management system and higher safety standards for road transport.
All these measures will help us reduce the number of accidents on the roads. But still, the basic factor is every one of us who drives a vehicle while working for SPD.
Environmental protection is one of the key elements of the Salym Oilfield Development Program of SPD. The ecological programs and projects of the company follow the requirements of the Russian environmental protection laws and the standards of Shell.
The largest environmental project within Salym is the construction of a 45 megawatt power plant. This power plant will use the associated petroleum gas to generate power to be used locally in the field.
The PGP construction is SPD's real contribution to resolving one of the important issues that the Russian oil and gas sector is facing: the efficient use of associated petroleum gas, which is a valuable raw material, and the reduction of harmful discharges to the atmosphere. To ensure a 95% associated petroleum gas utilization rate by 2011, SPD has, in cooperation with two companies, Rusneft and Monolith, started construction of a gas processing plant in the West Salym field. Environmental engineers are establishing a system for the collection, temporary storage, and utilization of different types of waste. These different types are brought separately to the polygon and stored in different areas. This is very important for future utilization. The construction of unit for the thermal utilization of oil waste, called Turmalin, started in the summer of 2008 in the second phase of the polygon development. Protecting pipelines and monitoring the environment along the right-of-way has always been a challenging task for oil companies. SPD has implemented an integrated security system for its 90-kilometer-long export pipeline. To protect the pipeline's most vulnerable facilities, there is a system of perimeter fence monitoring and video surveillance. Some valves are put inside enclosures with access control systems. All the incoming information goes into the monitors of the Central Security Control Room and allows a quick response if there is an emergency. People are instrumental in achieving the goal of becoming one of the best operators. People are the main asset of the company. That's why SPD is doing its best to improve labor conditions, raise motivation, and expand possibilities for training, personnel development, and professional growth. More than 360 SPD employees work directly at the Salym fields, mostly on a rotational basis. The company pays a lot of attention to the living conditions of the rotational workers. We manage 4 hostels for more than 300 people in our camps. Each hostel contains a canteen, medical station, gym, and laundry. There are autonomous water purification systems, sewage treatment facilities, and power supply systems. SPD employees live in comfortable 2-bed rooms with internet access and international telephone connections. All rooms have air conditioning. Recreation rooms have satellite TV. There are permanent and mobile medical stations in the field offering qualified medical assistance to the personnel. SPD is a young company. The average age of its personnel is 35. The Salym Project has opened broad possibilities for their career development where they can apply their professional knowledge and skills. Another feature of SPD's corporate culture is strong teamwork, where every member of the team is driven by the common goal. Russian and foreign employees have been able to create a team spirit and establish good partner relations with contractor companies.
There is a saying that people that want to move fast, they have to go alone. But if people want to go far, you have to move together. What SPD has done is to move fast and go far as a team, which has been a remarkable achievement and something that we can all be very proud of.
In 2010, it has been 7 years since SPD shareholders took the decision to proceed with implementation of the Salym Project. Over these years, SPD has grown into a major oil company, making an increasing contribution not only to the energy sector, but also to the entire Russian economy. Between 2005 and 2009, the total budget revenues from SPD amounted to more than $2 billion. SPD already has the ingredients that make for a world-class delivery culture, where innovation and teamwork and a focus on value and cost results in consistent delivery of the challenging operational tasks.
So we look forward to the future with confidence.